Yes. So I have created a patient and I have also started the IPD visit for the patient and admitted the patient. So once the patient has been admitted, the doctor will go and prescribe the medications for the patient. So we can go to the patient dashboard and the doctor will go to the medication tab and prescribe some medication for the patient. And in the dashboard, we can see the IPD visit link. From here, we can go to the new IPD dashboard. So here we have all these display controls. Firstly, we'll have the patient header. We have the vitals and nutritional values, allergies, and diagnosis display control, which will capture all of the allergies and diagnosis present through that visit. Uh, for corresponding allergies and diagnosis. So I'll quickly add a medication for the patient. So here we have clubbed few of the frequencies together. For example, every 12 hours and twice a day, we have clubbed it together. And we have frequencies such as every 2 hours, every 3 hours, and every 4 hours. As well as we have added new frequencies in morning and in afternoon. So I'll add this medication for 4 times a day for 3 days. And I'll also capture one more medication for this patient for every 4 hours. So after the doctor prescribes the medication for a patient, then the nurse will go to the inpatient module and from there they can see the new care view dashboard. So I'll go to the inpatient module and uh, once we click on this change to care view link, we can see the new care view dashboard. So from here, we can select the ward in which the patient has been admitted. So this patient I have admitted to the RJF ward. So if in case the nurse knows that they are going to take care of this patient, so they can also bookmark the patient. If the provider bookmarks a patient, then my patient, they can, the patient can be viewed in the my patients of that particular provider, and the other providers, they cannot bookmark the same patient because uh, it has already been bookmarked. So this button will be disabled. So we can already see some set of non-medication tasks getting created for the patient. So I'll quickly go to the patient dashboard. We can to the patient dashboard from here as well by clicking on the patient ID. And once we have admitted the patient, list of non-medication tasks will get created for that patient at the time of when the patient is admitted. So if we see, we'll have all of these non-medication tasks. Some of them are one-time tasks which needs to be completed only once the patient is admitted, and there are some other tasks which will be need to be done in every shift. So once a new shift starts, this same patient tasks will be created by the schedulers, and once they are completed, the nurse can come and mark this task as done. So, for example, if the nurse has already captured the vital signs of the patient, they can mark this task as done. And in the nursing task section, we can see go to the completed tasks. Here we can filter the task by all of these statuses, if they are pending, stopped, skipped, missed, and if they are PRN tasks. So I have completed this non-medication task, for example. Again, the nurse can also see a notification present in front of the patient, which means that the doctor has prescribed some new medications for the patient and it hasn't been scheduled yet. So they can click on the schedule treatment here, and whatever the medications has been added and not scheduled, they will be highlighted in the treatments display control. So the nurse can come up here and click on this add to drug chart link, and this modal will open. And if the frequency is like every n hours, like for example, if it's every 4 hours, every 5 hours, so that means the timing between the two medication dosage is important. So in that case, only the start time needs to be added. So for example, today I'll start this medication from this time. And then once we have added the schedule, the medication, we will have the nurse corresponding nursing task tiles created. So the nurse can go and click on the task tile. For example, if at it's 6 p.m. task needs to be administered, so the nurse can come and if they can also change the task time, and this is also configurable if the medication is late. For example, if it's 1 hour late to the scheduled time, then the notes will be mandatory. This time we have kept it as configurable, so they can add some notes and then they can administer the task by clicking on save. So once the medication has been given to the patient, it will be reflected in the drug chart and will have this legend icons attached to it. So this will be marked as done. So we have these legend icons pending, which means the task is yet to be done. Then there will be late. For example, this is a morning medication task and it hasn't been administered yet. So this will be marked as late. If there is this medication task, but I'll administer the medication task late, so the notes field here will be mandatory. So I'll add some notes. So in the nursing task, if I go to the completed task, we'll see the medication will be marked as administered late. Similarly, we can skip a medication dosage. For example, this dose was skipped by the nurse in the morning, so they can come and they can mark this drug as skipped. So they can click skip drug and add the reason why the drug needs to be skipped. So we can see the medication is marked as skipped, and we can also see the medications skip notes. So similarly, I have added this one more medication for 4 times a day. So if I schedule the medication, we have all these configurable time slots. So currently we have configured it for 4 times a day as 6 a.m., 12 p.m., 6 p.m., and 11:45 p.m. Since we have the first two time slots are passed right now, so these fields are non-editable, and those dosage will come on the remainder day. The last day, the few extra doses which are left from the first day, they will show up, and this slot it will remain editable till the next 1 hour. For example, if the schedule time configured is 6 p.m., then till 7 p.m. this field will be editable and it will be marked with the current time. So I will schedule the medication now, and we can see the corresponding task style will be created in the current shift as well as from the next shifts. So when we navigate between the shifts, we'll get this notification that you are not viewing the current shift, and we can use this current shift button to move back to the current shift. So in the patient header, in the header, we'll have this home button, the app landing button. the patient dashboard, as well as we can change the password of the user from here and the logout button. So I'll go back to the app landing page. Since I came back from the inpatient module, so it will take me to the CareView dashboard here. So in the CareView dashboard, in the right panel, we can see that this medication has been given. So this will be marked as administered, and the other tasks which are pending, the non-medication tasks are also there. We can also filter the tasks based on whether it's a medication or non-medication task from the filter here. Yeah, and then in the CareView dashboard, we can go to the My Patients list. Okay, yeah. Uh, to look at the list of the patients, uh, and we can navigate to the other time frames. So here we have divided the time frames in shift into the time frames of 2 hour slots. So the shift starts from 8 a.m. today to 7 p.m. So only in that shift we can see the nursing tasks for this RJF ward, and we can navigate to the next time frame. So the size of the time frame is also configurable here. So the nurse can come and see like at this time what are the tasks that they need to be performed. Uh, Also, we can see for a particular ward, we have this patient, 10 patients can be shown, and this is also configurable. So I'll go, I'll go to the medications page again, and I'll try to add different medications for the patient. Yes, in case the patient needs to be given a medication in an emergency, and the nurse needs to give the medication, and then they can request the acknowledgement from the doctor later. So in that case, the nurse can come here and click on the add task button, and they can prescribe an emergency medication for that patient. So they need to select the doctor who are going to acknowledge that medication, and they need to add some notes that why the emergency medication needed to be given to the patient. And here the emergency medication will get created in the treatments display control. And since only after giving the medication, the nurse is adding the emergency task. So the medication will automatically be marked as completed. So we can see it here, and they will be tagged as emergency tag. So apart from the medication tasks, the nurse can also add some non-medication tasks from here. So they can click on the non-medication tasks, and they can add some capture task name, capture vitals, for example, and they can schedule the medication task. Sorry, past time is not there. Yeah. So we can see here the non-medication task has been added. I will add one more non-medication task. So if a non-medication task is added for a patient, and if it has been completed, the nurse can come and mark the task as done, or they can also use the skip task button if that doesn't need to be completed. So they need to provide the reason for non completing the non-medication task, and then this task will be marked as skipped. Any questions till now?
Do you want to ask us questions now, or do you want to finish first and then?
Anything works.
Okay. Uh, I know there's a lot to take in, but any questions as of now? Okay, I can ask some. Do you want to explain a little bit about this shift? And you also said current period, etc. What is the concept of a shift? How do you define that? What do you mean by the current period as such? Then I also have questions, for example, like we saw as soon as the patient probably was there and bunch of tasks was already created, right? So are these tasks predefined or are they configurable? Can an implementation uh, create new tasks? Not just the ad hoc tasks that you created, but like say some of your tasks, for example, like say, I don't know, if you want to show the clinical assessment, for example, I don't know what does it do, but can we create additional tasks, a whole lot of other with information as such, right? So can he extend that? Can he add new sort of a task, right?
Yes, Anshu. So I'll answer the first question first. So a shift is just like in the hospitals we have the shifts of doctors and nurses, right? So that's how we have added the shift here. For example, if one particular nurse will have a shift from 8 a.m. say in the morning to 8 a.m. at night. So that is basically the shift of the hospital, and they can go to the next shift, and maybe some other provider or user will come here. So that's how the shift works, and we can use this current shift button to navigate to the current shift, whatever the tasks are needed to be completed for the patient in this time period. So those will show up here in the nursing task as well as the drug chart. And in the care view dashboard, what we have done is we have divided the shift into time frames. So just so like the things are more visible here. So in a shift, for example, the shift is from 7 p.m. till 8 a.m. in the morning. So we have divided since we have divided it in the time frame of 2 hours, which is also configurable. So the nurses will be able to see easily what are the upcoming tasks in that particular hour as well as for the next hour. So as soon as it becomes 8 p.m., this the current window will show the all of the tasks from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. like that. So these are the time frame from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. This will be the time frame, and in the next time frame, we'll have the next set of tasks for the next 2 hours. So then the user can also use this current period button to come and see the current shift and what all tasks they need to finish in that particular time.
Thank you for clarifying that. The other question about whether the tasks are configurable,
Yes,
can I add in more tasks that I like?
yes. So
Also, the shift timings are configurable.
yes. The shift timings are configurable, and also we can use a 24 hours time format for here. That is also configurable.
Okay. And also, is it also configurable that we can create more than two shifts, like three shifts or four shifts?
Yes. Yes, we can create any number of shifts. And these are the set of nursing tasks which are automatically created once the patient is admitted. So this is also configurable. Um, and in this one, will have a certain number of tasks which will be uh, used only once the patient is admitted. So, but there will be tasks, for example, this like capture vital signs or anything other than that. So that needs to be captured in each of the shift. So those tasks will get created as soon as the next shift starts. So if we go to you see, we have come to the next shift here. So earlier, this starts at 7 p.m. Earlier, we were in the shift. So whatever the tasks which are not completed in this shift will go to the next shift, as well as if even if we have captured few of the tasks in the previous shift, those tasks which needs to be created for every shift will also get created. All of these are configurable, and the scheduler will run at the beginning of each shift, and they will add those tasks.
Okay, nice. Can you just open this complete nursing assessment form, for example?
Yeah.
Oh, you can just mark it and put some comment. That's all, is it?
Yes. Yes. So
Okay.
they can go to the observation forms and update this form, and they can just come and mark this task as done.
Right. So I think it will be great if you can link, cross-reference this, right? Okay. I know the nursing assessment form that needs to be done, but what? Right? Instead of the nurse having to go, but somehow if we can link it up. I think you are using, for example, the fire task model. And the fire task, for example, has got both input and output through which you can do some of this, right? The task also can be related to something. Um, so I think you can actually enhance this. It will be good to have instead of going somewhere and doing this. If you can directly assess the user um, to go to the relevant task section.
Also, the name of the form may be different in different uh, hospitals. So
Right. It needs
we
to be
should do for
configurable,
the
right?
reference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
for this task, what is the associated, like say instrument as in like, it can be capture vitals. It can be like, capture intake, for example. Some of them might not be. For example, if I schedule a task, okay, at this point of time, I need to take the patient for her appointment with the radiologist, for example, right? And that probably can be much simpler. Anything else from others? Any questions and feedbacks?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So, how about multiple nurses or so in the same ward? So, should they need to log out? For example, in few implementations we have seen that in a ward that individual nurses would not use their own personal devices. For the entire ward, they would just have a single desktop or a machine. So, do we recommend them logging out and then log in with this specific user, or do we have the on behalf of?
Okay. So as of now, the way is to log out and log in, Mogan.
Okay.
So, one way which, to this problem, we also have, spoke about, how to, mitigate this issue of, logging in and logging out. So one quick solution that we have brought as of now is, quick logout and login using shortcuts. Say, for example, now, right, if we press command plus escape, it will log out automatically. You will not, uh, uh, go there and navigate using cursors. That is one way. And the other part is, how do we retain, say for example, I am in a patient, say patient A. Okay. So nurse is attending patient B. Say I have logged out. So I'm some other nurses logged in again. I'm the first nurse. I'm logging in again. As now it's the third action that is happening now. So originally, the patient A that I was attending should be retained, right? I mean, that would be the quicker approach, right? So instead of we having an home page, and then navigating back, that will be a time consuming things. So what we have done is, so we have maintained, sessions currently, which is configurable. Now we have kept that for 30 minutes so that the session or the place where the nurse resided would be stored in a for in the cookies. Okay. And then while the nurse logs out and logs in again, they will be directed directly to the page that they left, so they can continue from there. So these were the two actions that we have taken so far to mitigate this. So probably, we'll evolve, in the upcoming places. We have talked about, as you said, on behalf, or giving select giving an option to select these kind of stuffs we were discussing, and they were some healthy discussions going around there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right.
So it's a, I think like, tough problem to solve, but it's a reality as well, especially in public, like, sector hospitals, like, IPD, there will be nurses desk, for example, a station, and they probably have one or two, right? And there are lots of patients, there are lots of nurses who want to use the same thing, right? And for operational reason, cost reasons, or whatever, maybe not everybody has got their own, tablet or that sort of a portable devices, etc. And so how do you solve this? I think the navigation part, we can solve it because we can keep in, browser cache or somewhere, local storage or something that as such. How do we automatically log the screen? How do we quickly allow the nurses to log in? I mean, we have seen that even doctors and nurses, they find it extremely difficult even to remember their password. I've seen doctors sticking their password on a post-it note to the stations. Same thing for nurses as well. So, and alphanumeric passwords probably is not the best solution. Maybe have like, sort of like a short pin, right? Something of that sort. But emphasis must be on like, how can quickly navigate, how can I assist them, right? And quickly unlock, lock, shift context, I think is easier. Yeah, screen will refresh, but it might be an easier problem to solve. There was also discussions around without doing this. So Firefox allows sort of like say multiple, sandboxed environment, right? I don't remember exactly what they call as a particular add-on or feature that you can do this, which means like, imagine using something like spaces, right? And in that case, once it gets locked in, somebody can swipe in to log on to. It's like, typical multi-user, like, computer you have logged in, right? You can always lock user and somebody will have to come and unlock something. So you have to think about how do you do this? Because I think this is a problem that is worth solving.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, Asta, you wanted to continue on some of the stuff.
Yeah. Next we have added this frequency, start immediately. So if a medication needs to be given to the patient urgently and only one dosage of medication needs to be given, so in that case, the doctor will prescribe the medication as start immediately, and they will when we have chosen the frequency as this, then the duration and the occurrences will be set to 1 by default. So I'll add this medication, and in this case also, once I have added the medication, we can see the notification tab coming up again. So I'll go and schedule the medication. So in case of start immediately medication as well, will only have the start time. We can see the medication is marked differently with the RX start tag. So here we only need to add a start time. So I'll add it as 7 p.m. And after that, the nurse can go and administer the medication. So we can. So what is happening is once all of the dosage of a medication is either completed or missed, so we are changing the status of that medication to completed. So that means that there will be no more nursing tasks in the pending state for that medication for any day. So similarly, if we need to stop a medication, for example, the doctors may find that the patient doesn't need the medication, or they might be having reaction to the medication. So they can come up here and click on the stop drug button, and they need to mention the reason why they are stopping that medication. And once I mark the medication as stopped, all of the subsequent nursing tasks will be marked as stopped. So you can see this, all of these tasks will be stopped for this patient now. So the another one is the PRN medication. So in this case, what is happening is if a doctor anticipates that a medication needs to may be needed to be given to a patient, but they don't know at what time or uh, how many times a day they'll be needed to be given. So at that time, we can mark the medication as PRN or as needed. And once we have prescribed the medication, this will come up here with the RX PRN tag. So since the PRN medication doesn't need to be scheduled, so we can just add the PRN task without adding a scheduled time. And once I've added the task, the nursing task will refresh, and a task tile will get created for uh, that shift. This can be administered any number of times. So even if I have administered this PRN medication, we can go in and check in the completed task. We'll still see the placeholder card for that PRN medication. So this PRN medication will roll over to the next shift once this shift is closed and we have moved to the next shift. So this will remain till the date number of days the PRN medications has been prescribed. That is for the next 3 days. So we can also see the same in the drug chart here as well. Yes. That is pretty much it in the IPD workflow.
Um, uh, any questions, queries, feedbacks from others in the community?
Just a quick question. So, do we have any print functionality of the task, maybe ordered by time or something?
Right now, we don't have a print functionality.
Okay. Because in few cases for insurance claims or sometimes a printout is required. Okay.
Also, we have added a scheduler. So once the day is passed, so all of the medications which are not given in a day, so they will be marked as missed for the next day.
What about drugs, for example, that typically the patients were chronic patients, for example, the diabetic patients. Now, this drug is not advised by the hospital where the person is admitted, but typically they will say, yeah, please bring all your like existing meds, and they will say, okay, you're a diabetic patient, you keep on continue this. All right. So how do you schedule such drugs? Can you do it without an explicit order by a doctor in the same facility? Can the nurses do that, or they have to follow an ordering process?
So in that case also the doctor will have to prescribe the medication from the medications tab, and
Okay.
then only the nurses can come and schedule the tasks.
Could it be the same process, for example, that you have done for like say emergency medication?
Yeah.
Right? It needs to be approved, right, or acknowledged by a particular doctor, but maybe the nurses can still define a schedule for it.
Yes, Anshu. I mean, the emergency medication, now the design is, I mean, we can do it, say, for example, if I want to administer a medication on an emergency or for some reason, I'm able to do it at this particular point of time, but I may not be able to schedule it for a future time, probably.
So you
Yeah.
have done it more as a one-time thing, right? Right. But I think this is also a requirement typically. I mean, in that case, it cannot be considered as an order, right? Because the doctor has not done that. The patient has probably brought in his or her own medications, right? These are the ones that I take, right? And then typically you give it to the IPD nurses when you get admitted, and then IPD nurses will make sure that as part of your schedule, they will give the meds to you. So this is not really an order. Obviously, they need to get acknowledged by the doctor, right? But this is not an order in the system. This is typically what in, say, fire or something, you consider something as a medication statement. This is the medication that I'm taking.
Okay.
Not a medication request. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I mean, which may not be original drug order. It would be a kind of as needed, which will be scheduled and administered. That will come out in the medical statement, right?
It's a scheduled one,
Yeah.
right? It has to be acknowledged by the doctor, but it's not driven by an order.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Others, Daniel, Mike, Rera, any questions, any queries, feedbacks? Okay, I guess not. Akhil, anything from your side? Any queries?
No, nothing.
Okay, so I do have some technical questions, for example. So is this totally, what is this technology right now? Like, this is driving. Is it a new feature? What, you don't have to go too deep, but what does it involve? What is the front end? What is the back end? Are you following any standards? Um, is this hard coded? Can I bring in like say new components or new features, right? If we can show some light on this, please.
Yep. Probably I can take that up. So, so this IPD feature, it has been extracted out as a separate OMOD. I mean, we can find that out in Bahmni today. So again, we have in the backend we have used Java again, and we are following REST standards for all the APIs. So that's there. And on the front end, it's on React today. So we are, moving, we are having a transition from Angular to React wherever possible. So this page is entirely on React today. So, and as you know, in Bahmni, as we do already, the power of Bahmni today is the customizations that we bring in, which we have, tried to follow, in the IPD modules as well. So probably, I mean, everything that we see in the screen, right? Say, for example, starting from the shift timings or, what to say? I mean, the time you see, which that has to be shown in the 24 hours window, or which kind of window. I mean, that's so, or, the time frame after which the medication has to be shown late. I mean, for some hospital they say, no, for me 1 hour we have to give it at the exact same time, even 15 minutes delay is late. So for some other sections, right, I mean, for some other hospitals it may be a different time. So that, that kind of time based configurations, these kind of configurations again is customizable, and we can do that in the front end. Again, it's just a matter of configuration that we change in the JSON today. Yeah, so that is on the IPD front. And today, on the IPD, now we have IPD specific few schedulers running. Say, for example, to highlight a couple of things, probably what the hospitals would need probably at the end of the day. Say, for example, if few tasks are missed, say, for example, there are 100 tasks scheduled, and out of that only 80 tasks has been administered or some action taken manually by the nurse. Okay, so what will happen to these 20 tasks? Say, for example, now we have a scheduler which can be again configured, that can be run at the end of the day, and automatically mark them all the pending tasks as missed. So that kind of schedulers has been involved. Say, for example, even on the task, on every shift start, we can configure few tasks that needs to be created. Say, for example, some hospitals say, hey, I want to create, say, for example, these two tasks at every start of the shift. That is again configurable. It's again a scheduler that is going to do the job for us. So again, what is needed is again a configuration where you will have the task name mentioned and good to go. So these kind of schedulers has been involved in this IPD. So on technical front, just to highlight, we have tried to mostly almost, right, we always try to follow the FHIR standards again. We were again we are strictly on that, as much as possible, follow FHIR standards. Say, for example, even this task is on FHIR task. If at all FHIR doesn't have a resources that needs exclusively our purpose, then we have designed few data models. Other than that, the medication, whatever it may be, the medication administration or the FHIR task, or based on the FHIR standards only, all the data models. Yep. So this is how it is today, and mostly everything is configurable. Yep. So yep, team. So this is it. Maybe if you have questions on any specific areas, maybe I'll be able to take that up.
Right. So can you broadly describe in terms of what are the core models, for example, that you are dealing with? One, I assume, would be the medication administration. Another, I assume, would be the task. What else?
Oh, okay. So one another, So, I mean, this page, as you said, medication administration, that's the core main thing. And the other part is the slots, which we have, slots and schedule, which we have designed for this use case. Say, for example, we are seeing this add to drug chart, right? So what will happen once I schedule something? I mean, the nurse, even before the medication administration comes into picture. So there comes one another core data model called slot, which is the exact table name would be IPD underscore slot, which we can see, which will have the slot. I mean, these informations, all those green boxes that we see, each one or individual slot resource in the backend database. That again has the information on drug and stuffs like that, drug order and stuffs like that. Yeah. So this, other than this medication administration and FHR task, we are the main one another core model is the slot. Other than that, these slots have relations that has been tied up to drug orders, and medication administration has been tied up to the medication administration performers, medication administration nodes. Say we have an ability to add multiple nodes. So these are the few other data models that have been associated. So to summarize things, so these three are the main core data models that we are relying on.
Thanks a lot, Kalai. Anything else from others? Also, I believe this is done all using React, for example, using micro front-ending architecture, using module federations. Do you want to elaborate a few things about it?
Okay, I mean, you mean on the which part, Anshu? I mean, maybe
on the front end architecture.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, again, on the front end, we have tried, to make it as a reusable component as much as, possible. So, I mean, it's again, what we have tried to do is again a component-based development, which means we reuse the components as much as, possible. And, even there is, Asta, can you go down? So if you see here in this down, right, intake output forms, right? So today we have this intake and the output forms today, right? So this information is based on some form information called intake and output form. What if tomorrow some other form information that I need to show? Do I need to create a new component again and I have to add it? No. So we have designed something called a generic display control, which will minimize this work. Again, that's in progress. Few tweaks here and there are going there, but the point is what we are trying to achieve is even with whatever use case comes on the forms that has to be displayed under the IPD control, we should be able to achieve that with minimal changes without creating without writing entire set of codes. That's the idea behind how we have designed the front end code actually.
Okay, any other questions?
I just wanted to add on a little bit over here. So currently the IPD repo that Anshu has shared upon. So we are having a container for the microfront for the IPD alone. So only once when the container is also added to the Docker, then only like the whole IPD will come into picture. So that is needed for the running the IPD framework altogether. This whole page is designed in React only, and we have used Carbon design system models everywhere, like as much possible. So the left panel itself is coming from the Carbon system, and all the icons that we have used are also coming from the Carbon model, from the Carbon icons only. So those are two things that we bought in, like mostly relying on the Carbon. But there are still a few, the icons showing for pending, late, and completed. All these icons are added manually, but yeah, these were not available in Carbon, so we have added as an SVGs and all. And one more thing that I like to add on is like all the things that you see on this dashboard is fully configurable, which means that, like if somebody wants to see the drug chat on top, like the very first thing, so it is a matter of config change wherein you can bring up the drug chat on top. And then like if somebody doesn't want to see a display control altogether, that also can be removed from the config, and then, it reflects back directly. Yeah, so those were things that I wanted to bring up here.
So this is like, great to hear. I'm sure there are lots of other questions as well, but we are over time. So maybe I'll ask for one last question if anybody has. Okay, guess not. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, IPD team.